I? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm on tour right now! Just doing a little production of The Little Prince with the puppet company I work with, so yeah, I'm in Costa Mesa in a hotel room. Don't ever let travel or other things get in the way of your dreams, people. Be proactive! Everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Adorkable Rachel, and it's time once again for another episode of Rachel Reviews, so let's just hop into it. Yes, it's true, I finally got on the Rick and Morty bandwagon. So today, I want to talk about something that's been around for a while, but everyone was saying it's so good, oh my god, you need to watch it. And I believe them, but it was just kind of hard to find the time to actually watch it. But I finally got around to watching it last weekend, and yep, after the first episode, I was hooked. So good in fact that I ended up watching the whole thing in less than 24 hours. I swear I have a life. This show's grown a huge audience over the years, and while it definitely has people who are turned off by the edginess of it, one has to wonder why something so obscure would be so popular. So let's take a look at the show and see just why so many people love it. The show first aired on Adult Swim in 2013, and basically the plot revolves around an alcoholic mad scientist type named Rick, who's kind of like Doc Brown if he was an aggressive asshole that actually frequently put together decent out-of-this-world inventions. But don't worry, he's still pretty likable. For the most part. Rick frequently ropes his teenage grandson Morty into his scientific schemes, and yes, Morty is a lot like Marty McFly, but younger and more awkward. Plus, it's clear he hasn't gotten laid yet. Come on, we all know Marty was banging Claudia Wells. But much like Marty McFly, Morty is frequently confused by just about every scientific thing that Rick does, and he also suffers from high anxiety. And from what I can tell, Rick doesn't really need Morty around that much, except for that TV standards say that you need a sidekick. But still, they go on a lot of crazy scientific adventures, and their family frequently gets wrapped in too. So as you'd imagine, shenanigans ensue. So I think one of the big reasons that people are drawn to the show is because it's kind of like a really dark satirical version of Back to the Future mixed in with Doctor Who and other science fiction-y stuff. But it also has the family sitcom dynamic, and Lord knows we never get tired of that genre. But it's also cruder and grosser and a lot more imaginative and more clever, and plus it's also a lot more interdimensional. In the show, Rick is frequently bringing Morty to different dimensions or planets for some reason or another. And they go inside someone's body to create a theme park! So the idea of a comedic pair going to different worlds is definitely a unique setup. Plus, if you can stomach the grossness factor, the dialogue and sense of humor are also funny as hell. It's kinda like The Simpsons, if every episode was a Treehouse of Horror special. Basically, it's a science fiction comedy show first, and then the family elements are brought in after that. But because Rick and Morty are related and they also live together with their family members, it just kind of works with the way they all play off each other and the fact that everyone in the house kind of begrudgingly accepts Rick's absurd ways. Plus, the show's not afraid to dive into uncomfortable family issues, like finding out you're an accident, troubled married coupled issues, and whoa, my parents brought a black guy into the bedroom? I mean, we can all relate to that, right? But these things are welcome because, again, they are funny, and they do play a big part in the story and the shenanigans of the show. Because rather than be there for the sake of shock value, they actually do give the characters a chance to grow and learn. Or I don't know, something cynically heartwarming. Something else that really makes the show work is that surprisingly a lot of the characters are insanely interesting and have a lot of depth to them. Rick is obviously this loudmouth jerk, but he is really smart, and actually that's why he's a jerk. Because he thinks everyone is dumb compared to him, and people definitely get on his nerves. But he also has his moments of caring, so we know he's not that bad of a guy. Morty is of course the awkward teenage type. He wants girls to notice him, he tries to be a good student, and he doesn't always know how to react to everything Rick throws at him, but that's where so much of the comedy comes from. This is more of an episodic show, so all the episodes are kind of their own individual stories and don't really intertwine with each other or connect or really have much continuity to one another. But after what I saw, that actually might change. But I really do like that format because it allows Rick and Morty to go to so many different places, meet lots of interesting characters, and explore a lot of different worlds. So we get something new in every episode, and the show is so absurd that we know not to take it too seriously. And we also get a lot of new side characters along the way too. And as you'd imagine, they're really entertaining. My personal favorites were the Meeskies, whose sole purpose was to complete a task and then not exist. But the longer they live and don't complete their tasks, the more agony they experience. It's funny as hell. Part of what makes the show so appealing is also seeing Rick and Morty and, well, everyone in the family react to new environments they're brought into. And while they've all accepted that all these dimensions exist, they still don't quite seem used to it. Except Rick, of course. It also gives you the idea that the universe is so much bigger than we imagined, and that there's so many other silly and obscure dimensions out there, and it definitely makes you appreciate the one we currently live in. Or I don't know, maybe theirs is better. I especially like how this show is a spoof of so many popular science fiction movies and shows, and it even takes time to parody other familiar parts of pop culture. But for the most part, they don't feel out of place because the parodies actually do play a part in the story. Like when Anatomy Park was a parody of Jurassic Park, or when the Dream episode pays homage to Inception. Also, I really like the episode with the cable from different dimensions that displays shows and stereotypes in a very humorous, poking fun at society kind of way. They're quick, funny ideas, but they're literally channel surfing in this episode, so it totally makes sense to come across all these things, and that's why they don't feel forced or out of place. Unlike Family Guy with all those random cutaway jokes for no reason. Yeah, sorry, not a fan. But what's also fun about the show is that sometimes they'll take a TV scenario that we're used to, but then ultimately turn it around and go in a completely unpredictable direction. Hence where all the weird creative sciencey stuff comes in. Plus it's animation, so per usual, you can just kind of do whatever you want with it. And speaking of which, you'll notice the character designs are insanely simple, and the animation is really not that amazing, but it's certainly not terrible. You'll actually notice that the normal people have simple designs and are kind of, neutral animation, but then you get the monsters who are really creative, and then they actually have a lot of flowing animation. I mean, just about everything that's from space or another dimension or somewhere weird, they all have really creative designs. And as for the less stellar animated parts, I do think that the interesting characters and stories sort of make up for the lack of stellar visuals. Also, I wasn't aware of this until recently, but Justin Roiland, who's one of the co-creators, he actually does the voice of Morty and Rick.
Oh, what the hell? Where am I?
55 years. Not bad, Morty. You kind of wasted your 30s, though, with that whole bird watching phase.
Where's my wife?
Morty, you were just playing a game. It's called Roy.
I had no idea! If I was gonna make any changes about the show, I would maybe recast Morty because Justin Roiland's take on him does sound, a little older than a 14-year-old would, but he still does capture the attitude of a nervous teenager, so I guess it's okay. So why do people love this show so much? Well, it may seem silly and ridiculous on the surface, but from consuming its entirety in literally one day, I found there's a lot more to it than that. It's a refreshingly original show with clever setups and interesting characters, and while it is a comedy show, it will actually surprise you every so often when something kind of touching or heartbreaking happens. That's season 2 finale though. It's actually really hard to find anything wrong with it because it's just so out there and just works so well. If you haven't watched anything from Adult Swim before, this probably isn't the best introduction, but if you like clever satire in the sci-fi genre, then this is definitely up your alley. Also, what the hell guys? This show aired in 2013 and you've only produced 2 seasons. Why is it taking so long to produce the 3rd season? I mean, you can't just leave us on a cliffhanger like that and expect us to just wait for so long. I mean, waiting 1 summer, that's one thing, like per usual, but I mean, like, this is like almost 2 years, guys! We have been waiting patiently. Where's that 3rd season? As of right now, there's no definite premiere date set in stone, but I can respect that they might be taking their time with fine-tuning another good season. And if it turns out anywhere near as good as the first 2, then hopefully it'll be worth the wait. Doesn't make the waiting time any easier though. So those are my thoughts upon viewing the first 2 seasons of Rick and Morty in less than 24 hours. So now I want to know, have you guys seen the show? And if so, what do you think? Well, if you've seen it, I'm pretty sure you like it, but still, what are your thoughts? Well, go ahead and leave your comments below. Be sure to like and share. And if you're new and like what you saw here, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to hit the little bell button down there so that you can get notified about new content because I make new videos here every week.